I want to ask you a few questions, if you're okay with that.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's about DJing.
Yeah. Okay.
So, first question that I have is, why did you start DJing?
I started DJing because I love the music, house music. When I was a child, my parents used to go to the original Ministry of Sound parties, or raves, as they were known. And they used to always have like old sort of pirate radio mixtapes in the house or in the car. So I was always listening to that. It was always in the background when I was growing up. And just over time, it just became a thing. It was just always, in my life, I was always listening to like the newest sort of compilation CDs I could find down at HMV or any CD shop. So it's kind of why I eventually decided to get into it.
So you basically grew up with it?
Yeah. I had a lot of friends. My cousin as well is also a DJ, but I had a lot of friends who had their own equipment, like DJing equipment, and I was always really wanted to sort of start learning how to use it. I never had any equipment of my own. So just because I moved around Asia so much when I was young, it was quite hard to, get the equipment because we were always just moving like every 2 years. But I moved back to Hong Kong like 2.5 years ago, so I was 20, and I just thought, fuck it, like I'm going to buy my own equipment now, and just start. There's no reason why I shouldn't be able to.
So, first gig, where and when?
First gig was at Drop. I used to work there, and I had a friend who used to promote his own monthly event, and he used to have one guest DJ with him each month. And on the second night that he did his event, he didn't even ask me, he just told me that I was going to be doing it with him, which was really nerve-wracking because I was still just practicing in my dad's spare bedroom with my decks. So it was quite a frightening experience. I'd never really played in front of a crowd or anything. There was no sort of ease into it, like just straight away, like doing an event with someone in a place like that, which is quite busy. So it was really fun, but quite nerve-wracking.
All right, so you're the resident DJ of Midnight & Co. now. How did that come about? True story.
I used to come down, and when you and I both shared an apartment, and I used to come down to Yamla every now and then, and I think there were only 1 or 2 times I'd ever spoken to Dan, just very sort of small talk. And then one day Dan was throwing a Chinese New Year's party, and you asked if I could come along, which I did, and I got offensively drunk, and I more or less trashed the apartment. So that happened, and it was a very embarrassing chapter of my life. And I think when Midnight & Co. first opened, I was too embarrassed to come down for a while. But eventually, I'd finished my previous job. I had more free time on the weekends. There's only one place I really would have wanted to go because of the music here. So I did start coming down, and I apologised to Dan and everything. And by then, it was apparently fine. And then just getting really drunk here and listening to the music until 5 o'clock in the morning. And Dan was aware I was already promoting my own event, Subliminal Criminals, with Russell Doctrove, also a resident DJ. And he offered us a night, like a one-off event here. And I guess it went down okay, because we ended up getting residencies offered, which is a huge step from just promoting a monthly event and then getting a residency in a place like this. And I never thought it would have happened, ever. So that's how it happened.
So you're quite happy then?
Yeah, very, very pleased with the way that things panned out.
Well, so basically to get a gig, Trash Boss House?
I wouldn't recommend it to everyone, but I mean, I think just by a very strange chain of events, it led to me spinning back there. So I think it was just a one-off. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Absolutely not.
Any other tips that you might be able to offer, eager DJs, up and coming DJs?
I think the first, most obvious one is always play what you want. You shouldn't change your musical style just because a certain crowd or the bigger crowd wants that. It's always good to just play what you want to play and be who you want to be. But another good one, I suppose, if you are DJing, because it was something that I experience quite often, is annoying people requesting tracks off of you. I think the first time I ever played, I had random tourists from New York bugging me for a good hour. You don't need to be rude, but just if it gets excessive, just remind them that it's an incredibly loud environment and your hearing isn't that good, and it's a bit distracting. So if they could just leave you alone, and just enjoy the music, then that should be the end of it. If not, pour a pint on them.
Well then, on that note, thank you very much. I'm sure we've learned a lot tonight.
I hope so. I really hope so.
Well, hope to hear from you soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.